Hello, once again, good people. It's Mbongena again. Today, I want us to talk about sensitive topics in South Africa. So, these are the issues that, if possible, try to stay clear as much as possible out of them. Because, to you, it may be just saying it, but to a South African, it may mean something completely different. For an example, the issue of an apartheid or race or racism. So that is the regime that South Africa had gone through it, and it's something that most of the people don't want to remember or even talk about it. So because of its brutal nature and the legacies that are still existing. So some people, they lost their loved ones and stuff like that. So that can be a very, very sensitive issue in South Africa. Another issue is the issue of inequality. Yes, indeed, there are glaring inequalities in South Africa in terms of infrastructure and stuff like that. You can see that there is the place for the rich, there is the place for the middle class, there is the place for the poor and stuff like that. But as much as it's glaring as in that way, but there are some other aspects, other areas to it. For an example, when it comes to the economic issues, some people, they still believe that their situation or their poverty is because of a certain race group. And another race group also still believe that since now they are poor, all of it has to be blamed to a certain race group as well. So it's not just to say, oh, what is wrong with inequality? You have this that one doesn't have. It's just that and end there. So there are so many deep issues behind that. Race, I've already touched on that, but here in terms of race stereotype, again, there are certain things that are associated with certain race groups. And gender as well. South Africa is one of the most progressive countries or advanced, mainly in Africa. So putting things on gender, like say women need to behave like that, men need to behave like that or dress like that, is something that is like intolerable in South Africa. Mainly to some people, it can even be an issue to say, why you say just because of my gender, I must behave like this, I must do this and that, So if you're coming from the countries where that is not an issue, so you need to take note that in South Africa, that can really be an issue. Same as tribal stereotype. I hope by now you know that we've got so many ethnic groups in South Africa. There's also race stereotypes. As I've mentioned, we know that when you talk about a certain race group, there are so many bad things that are associated with it. Maybe some of those things, they may land to your ears, but because you don't understand the context of it, you end up like saying it without having proper consideration. Same as tribal stereotypes is there as well. Say, oh, a certain tribe is this, a certain tribe is that. So be careful not to find yourself trapped into such stereotype. The politic in South Africa, indeed, is not much based on the policies. Sometimes it's also based on the race group. When you talk about a particular political parties, it's known that you mainly if you favor it, you belong to a certain race group. If you talk fondly about a particular political party, you are more aligned to be associated with a certain tribal or ethnic group. So things like that you need to take note of. Domestic violence is also one of the elephant in the room, South Africa. So some people, they have personal experience with it. Some people have survived. They could have died, so they are still healing through that process. So when you talk about domestic violence, it's no joke in South Africa. So you need to be very sensitive. I hope you come to our country not to ruffle feathers, but to enjoy what is happening, to learn experience, but it won't be a good experience, you live with that to say you have caused trouble in the country. Patriotism, we like our country. We really, really like our country. Whether you are black or you are white, you have seen various race groups standing up to protect the infrastructure during the looting. We like, and I can rather say we love our country. And our country to be where it is today, to a greater degree, there were bloodshed. It's not like things as you come as a foreigner, you see, oh, all is well. There were bloodshed. People laid their lives for this country, so it's no joke. So you may need to be a little bit more careful about that. Criticism is always allowed, although some people don't accept it, but personally I don't have a problem with criticism, but it's better to put it into its context. For example, there are so many things that have been done in South Africa, and there are so many things that still need to be done. We are well aware of it. So just to come and say, oh, South Africa, we thought is a better country, look at inequalities and this and that, it's too insensitive. It's very much insensitive. We are well aware of that. We are working on it. We are aggrieved about it. So, and given the fact that some people had died for this country to be equal, and we all share equal treatment, resources, access to opportunities, but seeing it in the way it is, really to some people, it's really touching. So it's not just an issue. So patriotism, it goes hand in hand with the struggle for this country. Religion, South Africa, I can say is a melting pot for religion. It's not one religion country, as some people believe that Christian is predominant. No, that is not true. South Africa is multi-religious, and there are people who don't even believe in religion at all. So you may need to be very careful if you believe in a certain religion and you come to South Africa. I will send a video about the religion itself. So for now, all I can say, you need to be very cautious when you talk about the issue of religion. There are people who don't believe at all that God is there, but they do tolerate, because in South Africa, tolerance is one of our main features. So you need to be aware of that. Certain words, this one, I can tell you can even be arrested for this one. There are words that you may find that when a certain race groups is saying towards each other is not an issue. But if you are, let's say you are a white person, you are saying it to a black person, you can even be arrested for that. Same as also you are a black person saying it to a person, white person or Indian person or something like that. So I know some people, they normally just saying it. You may hear maybe your tour guide saying it and think it's something acceptable. So you need to be very, very careful and make sure you know your story. So those are some of the few things that you need to be aware when you come to South Africa. Don't just rush to say, I'm fitting in the country, I understand this and that. You need to be very, very careful. Very, very careful. Race relation in South Africa is an art, if I can put it in that way. Thank you. Let me quickly add something on the issues of inequalities. Let's say, for example, you say, South Africa is still inequality. Yes, indeed, that is true. But it seems you are saying all the people who have died for this country, they have died for nothing. In other words, you can be proud and say you fought for your country, but you fought for nothing because you haven't achieved what those people had died for. Just to clarify or add something.